Oh, good evening, everybody. How's it going? Definitely ready and set up. Oh. Cool, just finishing getting things set up on my end. I got distracted by some things. Cool, I think we are almost ready. Need to actually get registered for the races though. I haven't done that yet. Would be a good start. Me registered for 1 and registered for 2. Cool. Cool. Time to just get the first combo of the night up, which is the Ferrari GT2 at Mont Tremblant 1969. I think I made a mistake and put 68 there, but oh no, it's 69. Okay. Cool. Let me change that. $1969. There we go. That's better. Right, hopefully, touch wood, we're going to have less technical problems than last week. Hey Adam, how's it going? Ooh. Ow. Okay, that's thing I need to be wary of is can't get to lift on that crest. Just finished the match in BF2. I assume that's with the Buster Field mod. Or is that just normal? First time playing an interesting combo. Kind of gets a bit light, or gets a bit of front air there as well. Gonna be like my infamous wheelie at Portimao, but every lap. Played BF2 before. I haven't played that Battlefield 2. I played the confusingly titled Battlefield 2 Modern Combat on the PS2. I think to this day, I think that might actually be the only Battlefield game I've played. But that is definitely not the same game. Oh, the understeer for that corner. Holy moly. And it doesn't help that I am driving a damaged car. We should play for free, 3, 4, and 1. Fair enough. Just seeing my ghost clobber into that barrier. I hit the curb. No. Okay, we're good. We're good. I can actually just find a comfortable spot. I can't seem to get the seating right. I need to lower it a bit. It's a bit too low. Player is on the same engine as 2. If I do it correctly, that game was fine. EA's group killed it. That sounds about right. I think I might have seen that actually. Maybe not that one. But I do remember a bunch of other free-to-play EA games back in the mid-2010s or so. And they pretty much all ended up dying eventually because EA got greedy. I mean, they did lock the player to one class, you couldn't switch in the match. Amazing. Front end really tries to take off through there. Do that in the race to end the game over. Oh. Shut that. That's really anything we can't change here. Maybe a couple of clicks of extra fuel wouldn't hurt. Nothing else. cubs are deadly. Ow. One interestingly good move EA did back in the day is, if I remember correctly, there was a point in time where they gave out a bunch of like free games. Now, it was basically always some like really old game that basically wasn't selling any copies. That they had in their like dusty back catalog, but you know. A free game is a free game. But obviously they, I don't think that lasted very long. I do have more games in my EA library than I probably would have otherwise. Because there were games that I claimed from that. That being said, just like what most people do with Epic, I never really played any of them, but, you know, the thought that counts. Epic does every month, but I can't even bother to check, yeah. I've seen in, like, a couple other servers, I mean, people have got, like, bots that, like, will basically announce whatever the free stuff is. It's like, I do wonder how many accounts on Epic just ride off the free content and nothing else. Probably quite a few. Yeah, it doesn't, yeah. That's the thing, yeah, is it? Free game is a free game, but it doesn't excuse the flaws of the service. And I mean, Epic Game Store is a useless pile of crap. I haven't even touched it, and my third-hand experience of dealing with the Epic Game Store is enough to make me never want to use it. Because somebody was able to make an account using my email. I then got that account deleted, at least I think, and that email banned. And then I found out that Epic would let me actually sign up with my email address that they supposedly had banned. So much for banning the email address from being used. But the fact that their security was so bad that you could create an account using somebody's email without email verification is just wild. Especially for, like, a multi-million, if not billion-dollar company. I'm pretty certain they fixed that now, but the fact that that was even a thing to begin with in the, like, late 2010s, 2020s is just wild. You know, this ain't some plucky indie or startup. This is a whole huge company. Of course, there are also reports back in the day of people being reported for fraud, for participating in sales. What was on my account, I have no idea. I never checked. I never logged onto it. I literally, randomly one day, I got an email through asking for a password reset for, like, some random-ass account. And I was like, well, I don't have an Epic account. So who the fuck has made an account using my email? And that was when I did some research, and I was like, wow, they don't even have email verification as, like, a security feature. Because I had to check. I had no other emails from Epic. You know, because I was like, oh, shit. It's like, my email been hacked? But it's like, no. My email was fine. And then, yeah, I had a bit of an email chain with them where I was just like, hey, yo, like, this is my email, but I don't have an account. Can you get rid of this scrub? Oh, any furry stuff. Oh, I thought you said funny. I read that at first. I don't know. I never checked. It was probably just some Fortnite scam account, if anything. Probably promoting some like real money trading or some bullshit. I don't know. I don't care. If it was an actual person's account, though, funny, because it's been skedaddled. But how fucking stupid do you have to be, right? To create an account. Yeah, to like create an account on a platform using somebody else's email in the first place. And then forget the password to said account, which means you have to send a request to that email. Because, like, what was the guy thinking? Like, what was... He couldn't get anywhere. Because he didn't have access to the email. And he had no... I don't think he had any... Well, he had no other way of contacting me, because otherwise he would have. I don't recall... He didn't even try emailing the account. They were like, hey, can I have the email code? Good he didn't, because I would have told him to go and fuck off. Gonna eat shit somewhere. But, you know, it's just a random, strange series of events. Ooh, I cooked it a bit. Good though. But yeah, the fact that Epic effectively had to buy exclusivity rights and offer free games to people to sell the platform is kind of a big sign that like the rest of the platform was a heap of rubbish. Ooh, I've a good bit. Oh well. Hoping this isn't going to end as poorly as last night's race, though. Effectively, every dev just treats Epic Store as a public test before they launch on Steam. I mean, that's just rubbing. When you think about it at the end of the day, that's just rubbing salt in the wounds, really. But it also goes to show public perception as well, isn't it? It's like people care so little about Epic in the grand scheme of things that, you know, when they're like, oh, we're releasing on Steam, people forget that the game had even launched in the first place. It's like, oh yeah, this game existed. Interesting that some cars are lined up sideways in the pits and other cars aren't. Yeah, I've done that a few times. It's like a game has come to Steam that was on Epic. And I was like, oh right, I forgot this game came out. Gosh, this is the off-camber nature of that corner. It always induces so much understeer. Basically extra funding for them, yeah. Get paid to beta test your game. I still think one of the funniest things I've ever seen, also kind of a bruh, right, is that obviously the Windows Store, right, is a thing. And that sells a lot of games, right? Even some big games. However, I remember for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, for some reason, there was no crossplay. Because at the time, I don't think Epic really existed. And if it did, it was kind of just on its stumbling. Or like the Epic Game Store, sorry. If it did, it was still on like stumbling blocks. But it was funny to see, right, the Windows Store version did not have crossplay built in with the Steam version, which meant that like the 5 people who bought it on the Windows Store for whatever reason, well, basically couldn't play online because it was just dead. It was like you would have thought that maybe, just maybe, they would have just, you know, put them into the same servers, but I guess not. And it's not like they were bundled in with like the Xbox bunch either. It was just they were on their own. Because this was also before the days of console cross-platform starting to finally become a thing. But it's kind of annoying how long we were denied that. The console wars denied us console cross-platform for like the good part of like a decade, maybe even a decade and a half. Like, it's been possible for basically ever. But because the companies wanted to sell you exclusivity on their own platform, it was never allowed to become a reality. Which is ironic, right? Because I feel like that would almost hurt the sales of the platforms more than help them. Because, right, over here, our market was very much... I'd say our market was dominated by the Xbox 360. Yet, like... So, like, yeah, like, the UK definitely was an Xbox 360 dominated market back in that day. Basically, all my friends had a 360, but we had a PlayStation 3. Which meant that, like, there was like a... Out of all the friends I had, I could really only play with, like, 2 or 3 of them. So really, I didn't really play much online gaming on console for, like, especially with friends, for a very long time. Because, yeah, they all had Xboxes, I had a PlayStation. A tough shit. Cross-platform is a nice thing, but it's terrible in PvP. I'm gonna throw a potential hot take out there, but I think people bitching about it being terrible in PvP is just competitive gamer brain rot. And I think that it's a net positive for gaming, and we should have had it from the start. So... And I hate how overly competitive video gaming has become. Everything is all about sweat and meta. People have apparently forgotten that video games should be fun. Oh no, the console player has aimbot. Oh no, the PC players are hacking. Oh no, X, Y, and Z, bullshit reason. It's like, God, I wouldn't even given a shit back when I was a kid. I would have just been happy that I could play with my friends on games that we all owned. And even now, I still wouldn't care. It's like, okay, I can play with my friends. That's what I want. You know, at the end of the day, it's down for the game designers themselves to make those decisions in the game as well. Ooh, I wasn't expecting that. Still be beaten, but snatched pole position. More on the ping and online quality, but sure. I mean, it's... How would it be a problem in that regard, though? I don't see how it would be. If platforms can play together fine, there's literally no reason why they can't cross-platform fine. Wait, 092, Jesus, that was close. I'm not really sure if I fully... Not sure if I fully agree on that, unless there's something I'm missing. As far as I'm aware, there aren't really... Ping is only really... I'd say it's only really a problem when it's like cross-region and stuff like that. That's when it gets bad, but you're never gonna fix that, really. That being said, regional segregation, or just any kind of segregation in games, is also a lot of rubbish. I can understand there being regional blocks, or like having servers in different locations that people can jump to, but locking people to certain regions and servers is just, like, stupid. A lot of games did it, but kind of sucked in all of them. It's like, oh, a friend's on a different server. Well, shucks. Guess I'm not paying with him unless I pay money. One thing I didn't like about a lot of modes and stuff back in the day. Some of them still are kind of like that. It's like, no. Like, if I want to deal with shit pig, let me deal with shit pig, please. Still up to 30 FPS on consoles. Yeah, but that doesn't affect anything. If it does, that's bad game design. Plain and simple. Because you think about it on PC, right? On PC, you have to contest with variable frame rates. Not everyone on PC can run your game at a smooth 60 FPS. And so if you haven't factored that in, then it's not really a good online system. Like, that's the thing, people can deflect it onto crossplay all they want, but at the end of the day, it just puts more emphasis on designing a good system that actually works properly. Blaming it on systems is developers just being lazy. Doing ports is a whole different can of beans, but making servers work across different platforms and having them all synced up? No. Like, if you could port the game to all these systems, I'm sure you can get them all communicating properly as well. Software development, in some regards, is as much about foresight as it is about actual, you know, the actual logic itself. Good planning and foresight on a software project makes a world of difference. No, I don't think you are. I'm just saying that, like, it's a common scapegoat that developers and publishers use. And it's not really the player's fault for buying into it, because, well, you know, not everybody, you know, it's foolish to expect everyone to know how everything works, but yeah. I mean, yeah, as I was saying, yeah, like, it's kind of similarly with the whole stop killing games thing, right? People are bitching about, like, or some people are complaining that games, you know, won't be able to be, it costs so much to do what, to have, like, a proper end-of-life plan. But it's like, if you actually thought about it from the beginning, it wouldn't be a problem at all. If you'd built the game with that idea in mind, it's actually what the initiative kind of wants to push for. It's kind of a similar idea there, you know. Actually thinking about things ahead of time saves you a lot of effort in the long run. I have dealt with many a poorly thought out decision throughout my time as a developer. Where it's like, this thing was not thought out properly, or the scale and scope had changed since it was originally devised, and so said thing is now no longer suitable. And what we're left with is kind of just a hot mess. Actually, basically the whole project that I'm working on now. Got moved on to a new project recently to help out. Because one of the developers went on a maternity leave a bit early, and they got a lot of stuff they need to do. So I, learning how much of a technical nightmare that project was by previous developers. Not the two that were working on it now, but the guy before them. Oh, my god. He kind of just did his own thing. Fuck foresight standards and practices. I'm just gonna make everything really complicated because I want to. It was like, I was looking with one of the other guys who was working on it, and it's just like, we were stumped at what this code was doing. It's like, what the fuck is this actually doing? And what we found in the end was it was like this massive block of convoluted code and like regex and stuff, just to take a number value and add a 1 to it. And it was like, is that really all it does? It's like, yep, that's all it does. Oh. Yeah, I can play 60-era games like Gears of War 2 and local multiplayer. Bots would be able to do it for years, yeah. Exactly, right? Like, if games just, like, if you plan things through properly, then you should be able to deal with a lot of the things that can happen, right? And sure, you're never going to be able to factor in every possible scenario. That's why games still have bugs, quirks, glitches, and the likes. But if you can cover off some of the major things, you'll save yourself so much time and hassle in the long run. And it's like, yeah, if you built the game with the fact that, you know, people are going to be playing at different frame rates on different pieces of hardware, with different input methods, if it was designed with that in mind from the beginning, then you can circumvent a lot of the problems that would come later down the line from, you know, butchering it onto another platform. Like, you see some older games that have been ported to the PC, or like games that have come onto emulator that now enable like mouse and keyboard support, like old console games and stuff. Having mouse input completely ruins some of these, or completely breaks some of these console games, right? Because they were never built to have these sort of fast reflexes that you can have with a mouse. Like, I remember seeing a video of like somebody modded one of the Armored Core games to use mouse aiming. And it was like the most broken shit ever. Because instead of having the like slow mechanical turning, you could just snap and fire away. But obviously, you know, From Software had built it specifically for the PS2 and had never expected it to go beyond that. I don't know if I think I should have done the first year there. Why is this race has been going as well as it has, actually? I've just kind of been waffling rather than actually really properly driving. But I think it's pretty hard to pass here, so that's kind of working out in my favor. Oh, no! I had to go and jinx myself, didn't I? Ah, it's fucking... God damn it, man. Had to open my mouth. I had to say it. Oh, now the tires are cooked. Guess we're at the halfway mark. Yep, we are. I had a feeling that was going to catch me out eventually. Hey, it ain't over yet. Oh. It ain't over yet. I mean, win is probably off the table unless something catastrophic happens up ahead. But, I don't know, maybe. Maybe I could scrape up a podium still. I don't know. Yellow flag up ahead. I think it might be for Diego. Seems to be struggling. And we must have had an off somewhere as well. He's pretty far back. Oh. Is Diego going a bit sightseeing the trees up there? Oh, yeah. Should have kept my trap shut. That makes me look extra stupid when I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I'm surprised it's going well. Fucking crashed like a second later. Why does this happen so often? I don't know. I keep ending up in these scenarios where where I'm like leading or like potentially winning races, and then I somehow fuck it all up. It seems like Robert's fucked it up a bit up ahead though. Oh, yep, he has. The third place is on the table. Catch him passing. Easier said than done, but it's on the table. Who knows, maybe with the pressure I could force him into another mistake, I don't know. Can't believe that though. A washed up old man, I guess. 've dropped back to 34s, though. I was doing 33s earlier. I don't know if that's because of damage or what. Hopefully I can pick up the speed a bit more now with Robert in my field of vision. .9 of a second. And I got that a bit shit. Lost a bit of time. A little bit slower. Oh, Rebecca got that wrong. Got a wobble on the entry. I got a wobble on the exit though. Seem to be a pretty equal amounts of speed though, which is a problem. Because I need to be going faster than him if I want to beat him. Oh, big. Oh. God. I was not happy with me there. Too many off-camber corners on this track. It's kind of crazy. I think I'm gaining on him through the opening half, and he's gaining on me through the back half. I think that's how this is stacking out at the moment. Which checks out. I'm pretty rubbish through the second half of this lap. Oh. Just trying to push a bit hard through this. The car's trying to get away from me. I'm not happy on the exit. Slowly getting away. Probably eaten through the best the tires have to give by now. But oh well. We're gonna keep pushing anyways. Then I didn't need to. I think he's sitting pretty comfy now, though. He's slowly extending out that gap. Yeah, well. Oh, the understeer. Jesus Christ. I think its tires starting to cool off a little bit now, I think. Could it be the final lap? Or are we going to have another one? We're going to have an... This is it, I think. I haven't looked at crossed the line yet. Yep, there you go. Yeah, well. What could have been? I feel lost out to Matia in the end as well. Whew. Was kind of tough. Oh, lap time's like 32. Ooh. I didn't realize he was that much faster. Jesus Christ. Seems like those two had just gotten faster than me as well by the end. Ah. Let's get the old replay up. hero to zero. Well, I need a bit of a drink after that, though. Got a pretty good start, all things considered. I think it helped that those two were fighting behind. Oh! What happened back there with Hanu? Oh, I think there was a bit of a... Oh, I think that was a bit of a racing incident there. Hanu kind of braked. They both kind of met. It's unlucky. Oh, into the fence as well. Ooh, and Diego goes off. Just feeling Robert set up. Oh yeah, I never got the chance to look at Robert's livery because he sent it after the first race. And then the second race didn't happen. But I did take a quick look at it when he sent it through. Pretty cool, actually. Because I saw the, like, Sega AM2 tree. It's an Outrun-inspired livery with the GT number plates. I don't know if this is a real livery. Maybe it was. Actually, no. I think Yu Suzuki was just one of the guys in AM2. Pretty close stuff between him and Phil, though. Beginning. Oh wait, that was Mattia. I thought that was him. What was I thinking? That was Mattia. Damn, he came back from that to win? Crazy. Oh, I think he went up the inside and oh, Hugo went too deep. Beta action movie about Outrun. Doubt it's real. I think wasn't that greenlit? I think there was a lap in there where I didn't hit that fence on the right-hander after the start. Actually holding on pretty well on this first lap, though. Oh, yeah. There you go. As you said. Yeah, the front end takes off in this car, so you gotta be really careful over there. And me and Phil are actually breaking away a little bit from the rest of the group. Little did I really know just how fast Mattia was going behind, though. Not that it would matter anyways, but... had I have held on to this, I didn't know what was coming. Oh, you already got past, Jesus. Quick work. Oh. That's an interesting spot. Oh, you went wide, so you took a shot of the inside. There's like 3 videos about it in total on the whole of YouTube. I think it got a lot more coverage in like news articles. Oh, is this where it went wrong? Nope. I think. I got it a bit wrong on this. Though. Overcooked into here, sideways, over the crest, the car tries to go away. And then I just wanted to make sure I had the car down, so I braked way early, I think. Caught Phil by surprise. Where was it? Where did I throw it all away? Still was looking though for a move. He was trying. In the end though, he didn't have to do anything. Very close. Oh, but here's the lap where it all went wrong. Okay. Let's see. What happened? Ugh. Okay, turn him right, turning right. So the car just goes dead straight when I reach the top of the crest. I corrected as well. And then clipped the dirt, and that threw me off. Overall, I'm fine with it being a thing. Bay is great when it comes to action. Armor will probably be like Bad Boys 2 Chase and The Run mixed together. I just don't see how an Outrun film would make sense. Because Outrun in itself isn't particularly action-packed. In terms of, like, movie stuff, right? You're basically just driving a Ferrari really quickly along roads. Send it on Robert Hills. Robert gonna overdo it. He does. As Mattia through. Well, then Mattia overdoes it a little bit. But Robert doesn't get to capitalize. It's like a cannonball movie. Maybe. Oh! Oh, Phil! Oh, wait. Oh no, it's Diego. Sorry. I thought that was Phil. I didn't realize they've caught up to him. Ooh. I'll watch it if Nicolas Cage is the driver. What happened to Robert though? Because I saw he met some misfortune. I'm just trying to think. I guess in Outrun you've got like when you think of like the games, the cat in terms of he just got too early on the throttle, goosed it, rear end said nah. Oh, and then he goosed it too hard on the dirt. Lucky he got it going again before I caught him. Well, lucky for him, there was a Ferrari. Nick Cage Ferrari chased it by Bay. It's just chasing in the rock. And there you go. Or maybe that's what he's referencing. Who knows? Maybe he wants more of that. That would be... Oh! Did the wrong thing. Come here. Okay, still showing though. Where did that window go? I opened a new window, didn't I? Oh, it just opened a new tab. Okay. Okay, fine. I'm like floundering with all the tabs here. Let's get these results up, though. I don't think they're up yet, actually. Never mind. No results. Enrique did say yesterday that there's been some, like, ongoing issues, I think, with the results and livery server. Ironically, though, apparently it worked fine yesterday. It did. So yeah, I don't know if it's, I'm guessing it's probably an issue on the hosting provider's end. Hackers trying to steal our liveries, yeah. All those people with do not use on their liveries. They're molding right now. I know. Yeah, I don't know what could be going on there. But it does seem like something probably going wrong on the server end. Which is, I guess, some of the joys of using hosting providers. You sort of end up with a chain of things that can go wrong. Actually, wait, I want to turn custom shaders patch back on. Because it causes some weird flickering if I have it off in this car. I'll try to set up from Summit Point. Then we can maybe try the one from Kimura, if that doesn't really work. I remember that, but they must do it now. They have already yeah. Ooh. Bit snappy. But you're right. Be careful on the old brakes in these things. Yeah, it is. It is kind of annoying, yeah, when you do kind of put your stuff, so you do kind of entrust something on a provider, and then said provider shits the bed, and you're like, well, especially when there's like a chain, right, of people, because you end up disappointing, so they disappoint you, but then you disappoint all the people on the chain who rely on your things. It's like the old CrowdStrike problem that Microsoft had. You know, that kind of bricked like everything Microsoft, right? But in the end, it wasn't Microsoft's fault. But because they relied on CrowdStrike to do a lot of stuff, you know, they sort of very crucially rely on them to not shit the bed. And the same thing if, you know, you're running a server through like a hosted provider or whatever, you know. You gotta hope that they're not having any problems on their end. In an ideal world, you would just do everything yourself, but that's easier said than done in basically all cases. Like, in an ideal world, everything, like, I would, you know, basically every piece of software that I handle stuff through would be something that I can have control over. Right? You know, it's down to me if it runs or not. So I don't have to worry about anyone else. Of course, if it's something more public-facing, then I guess having it distributed to other people also would be a good idea in the case that, like, you know, I suddenly croaked or whatever, or lost, you know, the server that I'm running things off dies or whatever. I just can't do better than that first lap. Good to know. I haven't really been paying too much attention to the driving, but +2, +1, -1, -1. Okay. Try add take 2. Should think pick 2 from here. Last week I just did that, didn't I? Maybe boosted the wheels up a bit. That's a bit too much. That might be better. We'll see. Speaking of things going down, actually YouTube was kind of playing up for me for a while yesterday. Like, it was sort of refusing to load, and then even a couple of hours later when it came to Donnie streaming, I was dealing with like constant buffering, but my connection to literally everything else was perfectly fine. You're right, I figured I could do that. Yeah, not sure what was going on with YouTube yesterday, but I think that was definitely more of a localized thing. I didn't hear anyone else complain about it. Let me try the Kimura setup. I can't remember what I did, but I remember that felt better through longer winding turns. Is it like 19, 19, 18, 19? I mean, something. I don't know, I'm guessing. After watching Donnie's stream yesterday, buffering playback didn't want to start. Yeah. Interesting. Maybe it was a more wider issue. I don't know. See, I was... Yeah, I mean, but prior to that, I literally A couple hours before that, I literally couldn't load any videos. Like, I'd click on a video and it would maybe play for a couple of seconds and then it would just stop and give up. I couldn't watch anymore. Sounds like ad block detection. But I haven't had this problem any other time. And I'm pretty certain it still happened with the VPN both on and off. So, who knows? Seems to be fixed now anyway, so... whatever. Keeping this thing out into slides. Still isn't ideal, and I've locked the rears again, and that's me wrecking. I think it's server time. There's someone with a very loud engine outside. I overwrote the Kimura setup. Whatever. I didn't really change much. Why am I not getting... Okay. Doesn't seem like the server's up currently. Just like jumped the gun a little bit. Oops. Oh no. There it is. Cool. Setup loaded. Bumping that up a little bit. See what that does. Probably nothing good, but we'll see. Snap. Skippy snap. Alright, yeah. Gotta remember we're on lower grip. I think that's definitely playing into me understeering everywhere. Oh, Robert with a big old drift. Oh, that wasn't good. Oh, I thought I'd gotten the corner wrong. I look at my mirror, Robert's cranking a full slide into the turn on the grass and then spins back across the track. Ah, poor man. He was completely out of control. I feel like I did a bit more rotation for a couple of these corners, though. She's not really wanting to turn terribly well. So I need to change the brake, because it likes to do that. A little bit too touchy on the old brakes. Let's put that to, I don't know, 96. I'll put these back down because they didn't really seem to help at all. I don't think, anyways. How can I help? No, it's... I don't know. Might ruin me, but we'll see. Get out there and figure it out. Oh god. I think it's really done what I wanted it to do, to be honest. It's kind of helping. It's kind of not. It's gone a bit too far the other way. Yeah, I don't like that. I find it funny that when you play multiplayer with... I'm pretty certain it doesn't appear without CSP. I think it's only with CSP on. It says... it gives you the button to restart the session. I don't think that's meant to be there, but it is. I'll drop the front toe a bit. And we're gonna also add a couple of clicks of rear camber, I think. And maybe a couple extra clicks of rear suspension. See what that does for me. Yeah, that does me good. At this point, I am just throwing shit at a wall though and seeing what sticks. That seemed to be a bit better though. Still need to steer through that though. Crazy how long that's down to the back straight. Yeah. Basically goes all the way down, which is crazy. It's also funny to think that the outside perimeter of this track was an oval configuration that Kart used a couple of times. Because this does not have, especially given how long that back straight is, the speeds they could pull, those walls did not have the adequate, like, safety implementations. And I think this might have been slightly before the oval came to be, I'm not sure. So yeah, I think you can't really see it here, but I think in a slightly later revision of the track they did in like the 90s and 2000s. Well, speeds wouldn't be crazy, yeah, but you're still the entry, you know, your approaching speed is still massive. And that's kind of the problem. Like, you're approaching these corners at, like, well over 200 mile an hour. But they didn't have anything like safer barrier or the kinds. It was just concrete walls. And I'm pretty certain this is where Mark Blundell had that infamous crash, where he wiped out like crazy hard. Just like straight into a concrete wall at like 180 mile an hour or something ridiculous like that. It's like some places in Baku or Jeddah, yeah. But I think those are often more strategically placed, I think. And at least in Jeddah, they do have safer barrier in some places. And if they find a weak spot, they could just add some. You know, the Saudis have got money. But I don't think the same could really be said for here. They just kind of left it, I think. I think that's probably why IndyCar ended up moving away. Could have also been with the demise of kart, because I think it was a kart round. Never see kart kind of fizzled into the Champ Car World Series that nobody gave a shit about. Yeah, Jeddah is a weird track, though. We kind of starting to see it more often in Formula 1, where Formula 1 street tracks, and actually this is kind of starting to crop up in Formula E too, where Formula 1 street tracks aren't really street tracks anymore. A lot of them are like semi-permanent faux street tracks, which is like really weird. Because they have, like, the characteristics you would think of in a street track, well, vaguely. But it's like, oh, no, this is actually just, like, a permanent venue. It's like in Formula E, that's, like I said as well, that's also kind of thing. The new Jakarta E-Prix circuit. Permanent. It's built like a street circuit. It's concrete walls everywhere. You know, there's no runoff. But, it's a permanent track. Which is absolutely hilarious because they somehow let it, despite it, like, being a permanent track, they somehow let it get so dusty for the races this year that, like, they were just constantly making dust clouds. I get it in some regards, especially for Formula One and how stringent they are with some of their track rulings and whatnot, but at the same time, you do kind of lose some of the essence of a street track. And that's one of the things that's still exciting with, like, IndyCar, you know, a lot of the street tracks they go to are still, you know, very authentic street tracks. They're rough, they're awkward, they're bumpy. You know, these are roads that actually see regular traffic footfall daily when the races aren't happening. That a little bit. We're good though. I have no idea how much I am compared to my previous lap though. Originally sat fourth, which is very good. Oh, I'm second now. Cool. Call them town tracks. I don't even call them town tracks. They're completely fake. A lot of them, in like the Formula One and whatnot. Be they in or close to the town? Yeah, but I mean, if you build a permanent racetrack next to a town, it's still a racetrack. Look at all those tracks in America that have been gobbled up by, like, cities and stuff like that, you know? It's still... In my opinion, at least, for it to actually count as a street track, you know, it has to actually... Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. Changing my control for brake bias up actually scrolls the menu. Oh, but only in the way I previously moved it. Doesn't go the other way. That's a bit goofy. Makes more sense as street track. I guess. It is still somewhat misadvertising, though. Because people will probably make the misassumption that it is a street circuit. When it's like, yeah, Jeddah. It's like, it's sure, it's in Jeddah, but I'm pretty certain all of those roads are, like, purpose-built for the track. The Jakarta circuit, purpose-built. Miami, that's, like, semi-permanent, and that's just, like, a car park, really. Trying to think what other street circuits we have. Oh yeah, Madrid, the new Madrid circuit. That's, again, that's just like an expo center. And that's semi-permanent because they're building like funny banked corners and weird things into that. Um, I guess Vegas, Baku, and Monaco still technically count. Just for the luck, I will need it. But I don't really know what it is, but there's definitely something about street tracks in Formula 1 that just, even if they are actual street tracks, they just don't really quite hold that same feeling. I don't know if that's just me, but they just feel off. Oh yeah, Singapore as well. How could I forget Singapore? So I guess you've technically got 4, at least. I think off the top of my head that are like sort of still actual street tracks, but I don't know. They feel weird. Singapore, Monaco, Baku, and Vegas. I think I said Miami earlier. I'm in Vegas. Like, you compare those to, like, your St. Pete's, your Long Beaches, your, Detroit, even Belle Isle, and the likes, and they just have a very different vibe to them. I guess it's maybe just a Formula 1 problem. Like, look, the Ragger Axle was bad. Off there. Caught up enough. Look at that. Bugger. Just under the cuffs. I'm checking those tracks of Warfield and as you build trying to someone's garden. That's cheat check. True. You're exactly right, yeah. Should be able to crash into someone's house and or business. Does remind me that Evans threw away the WRC title last year to Neuville because he backed his Toyota into a shed. It does have nice looking buildings. I mean, yeah, they got like the castle and stuff, I guess. You know what I think though? They should say fuck it and make them race on the cobbles. See how the Formula 1 cars deal with the cobbles up to the castle. They probably all break and crash, to be honest. But it'd be funny. Trevor's super low. Let's see. You know, actually, Mattia isn't really breaking away from me. I say that now, he's gonna lock in and whizzing away. Or I'm gonna fuck up and lose even more ground. Probably the more likely one. Big snap. Am I at a slipstream range? No. So close. So close. Bill's pulled a pretty nice gap though, it seems. Because the three of us are relatively close. It's considered. It seems like Rob must have had an issue though, because he's way back. He got in the grass there a little bit. Oh, it was close. A little tipped off top lap times. Wasn't too far off. I'm good on fuel. Oh, yeah, I'm good on fuel. Good to see. Maybe the last thing I'd want is to be too, or have not enough fuel. Oh, that upshift gave me a bit of a nap. Not good. He's gotten pretty far away. I think he's cracked the code. Did catch up quite nicely through there though. Oh, he's gone deep. He's properly drifting through there. Think about it, actually, going back to your, like, town track nomenclature for circuits, I think this would technically count, because I think Rio, the city of Rio, is, like, right behind us. Because this track was demolished to build the, Rio Olympic Park back in, like, 2016. Yeah, I mean, you can see the buildings right there. Closing up a bit more now. Fastest lap of the race so far. It is pretty close to the three of us. Mattia has entered Robert's slipstream range. Of airports, tracks as a time I wouldn't feel so out of place. True. So we got Tempelhof, we had Cleveland. St. Pete, actually, I guess, is a oddity, because St. Pete is a street and an airport track. Because it uses the streets that surround the airport, but the start-finish straight is the airport runway. And, like, the last couple of corners, I think, are part of, like, the taxiways. You've also got the... I forget what it's called. There's that one track in Brazil for the... Stock Car Brazil. That's on an airfield as well. I guess... that applies for, like, half the tracks over here. But I guess most of those were airports. They're not anymore. Oh, Mattia's sliding. Much better exit than I do over there. It's on the grass. We might be drawing in slightly closer to Bill as well. It's pretty big. Whether we'll actually catch him is a different question, but we'll see. They got a better run out into that straight. Looks like he's going to get ready to cover off the inside though for this next corner. Maybe should have gone for a bit of a push there, but I was hoping I was going to catch him earlier in the straight. I don't know why I downshifted the second there, but a bit weird. Something needs to be in third out of here. That kind of worked out though. Oh, he's gone way wide. That was a bit odd. Was that a bit of net code? I'm not sure. That almost seemed a little desinky. I guess if it was a punt, maybe that would have been more of an aggressive move. I don't know. That was weird. I'll take it, though. Oh, Robert! That's unlucky. Just got on that curb. Oh, and he's sliding off. Even worse. It's definitely throwing him out of the race now. That is unlucky. I don't think we're going to catch Phil unless he makes a mistake, so I think it might be a bit of a fight now between me and Mattia. It does also seem like I'm slowly pulling away from Mattia, so who knows there. Got that a bit wrong, though. Was sort of using those two as reference markers, so now they're both behind me. I've kind of lost those references. Okay, wasn't expecting that. Snap on the exit there, though, that wasn't good. Thing I always find interesting about this track, because if it's long, winding corners, you're almost treating them like short track, but like a short track oval corners, because they kind of wind on. At least that's how I kind of view the track. Maybe I've just got too much oval brain rot. Who knows? But it seems to be doing me relatively well. Whoa, snap there. This is it, final lap. So it does set a new fastest. I do have 1.2 seconds to the good on him, which is good for me, because our lap times haven't been that much different in the grand scheme of things. So he's got to put together a barnstormer and hope that I make a mistake, which, as we saw earlier, could very well happen, but I'll try my best not to. Is closing, but I can afford that to some extent, at least. Not too much, but
skins unavailable. Carry on.
Enrique jump scare. Oh, he's fluffed it. Big old went wide, dropped on the grass. Nice save, but that's pretty much thrown away his hopes. Getting second place off of me. Don't think I'm catching Phil though, so pretty better off to just bring it home. In second. That was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. Bit of a slow burner, but it's pretty clean and methodical. After a pretty shabby start. Pretty close on the lap times, though. Ooh. Most people in the 2:03 range. Oh, that says race cancelled. Thanks, Content Manager. Grab the replay. Thought I'd gotten an okay start, but then it kind of bogged after the initial launch phase. Yes, yeah, I pulled away nicely and then it bogged. I think I needed to maybe hold it for a little longer, and that obviously allowed Robert through. Put the tier right up behind me. Bit of a wiggle there. Yeah, I was driving like an idiot at the beginning. So I see a Lambertier through. And I think, yeah, Phil getting that clean air early on was definitely crucial. Because we were pretty equal on lap times. We were a little bit quicker, I think, me and Mattia at least. Towards the end than he was. But he was just more consistent, and he'd had that advantage in the clean air. That was just too big to overcome at the end. Obviously, because we were fighting. What happened to Rob? It's right there. Something dropped him back big time. Oh, okay. I thought it was that same curb that got. Oh. That's bizarre. Yeah, the car snaps out. That seems relatively okay, but here it. Strange. I think I've seen the car behave like that at low speed before. But that's unlucky. Where was it? Yeah, I was actually losing ground to these two a bit. And I think I started to find my groove later on. Obviously, as those two were beginning to fight a bit more. Let me to close right back up on Eden. Just getting through. Last sector feels like it's reversed. Maybe it is. You never know. Yeah, I do sort of, yeah, I get that feeling as well, kinda. Especially this corner. It's deceptively tight, because it gets tighter as it goes through, I'm pretty certain. Like, nice open entry, but then it tightens up and you're like, ooh, this feels weird. Kind of similarly with this corner, actually, it does feel tighter than you'd think. You two got real close, and then I think here I just got both of you sliding through. They got me close enough. I was contemplating pushing, but I thought I'd got there too late on the straight, so I thought, yeah, I'll just take the outside and see what happens. Keep the momentum. And then backed off a little bit too much into there, but it kind of worked. Give me a better run out. And then, oh, okay, I guess just overdid it a bit. When I was actually driving, that looked weird, but I guess looking back at it on the replay now, it was just a bit of a send too hard. Roberto caught the really bad break. Yeah, there we go. Almost immediately. That was a bit too much over the inner curb. But he catches that deadly outer curb. And that spits him into the wall, under the grass. And then, of course, we're coming along, so he doesn't want to rejoin. Maybe he could have gotten away with it, but I guess he didn't want to risk it. But that obviously screwed him even more, because he's now stuck on the grass. Oh, he held that pretty well. Actually, that could have been a lot worse. He didn't spin out, but he still lost a lot of time. I was hoping we could maybe make a little more of a dent on Phil, but he was just too solid out there at the front. I think I also made a couple of relatively sloppier laps towards the end. Let's see. I think this is the last lap. Oh, that looked a bit weird. Is that just a replay thing? I was fast forwarding. Big bump. That rear end was not having it. Oh, there you go, out onto the grass. It's a good save, though. That could have been way worse. Again. But I think, yeah, that pretty much ended any fighting until the end of the race. I enjoyed that, though. So that was pretty fun. Would have been even better if I got a better start, but it is what it is. Let's see. Do we have results? Oops, I accidentally opened the calculator. I don't want to do that. No, we don't. Okay. Oh yeah, these have like special like hash codes and stuff, so no way am I gonna be able to try and like figure out a way into the results in case they just hadn't showed up on this view. Unless? No, I'm not figuring that out. Couple Montana mod was released last week on Overtake. I think it was a bit earlier than that, was it not? I vaguely remember testing it for this season. It might have been updated. But I almost want to say it was released earlier. I did try it though, and it felt... I wasn't... I maybe have to go back to it, but I wasn't really feeling it. I really liked the Copa Montana in AMS/AMS2. But, I can't remember what it was now. It just didn't really click. Ah yes, AC Cars, MX-5 ND Miata. That's already in the game, my guy. I can't find it at all now. What am I doing? Oh, there it is. August 1st is when it came out. So I guess... Yeah, okay. Yeah, it came out the weekend... The Friday before the new season started. And then it got an update last Wednesday. What does that fix? Wiper clipping, revised brake performance, fix some errors in livery names and numbers. Singer updated. The Singer received quite a lot of updates. 9. Okay, that's not that many. 1.3.2 in brackets CSP 0.2.8 plus. Okay, but why? Known issue. Content Manager cannot handle the CSP physics, hence the lack of steering in the showroom. If you need it badly, keep version 1.1. Why could your own app not handle your own hackery? What? That's kind of funny. Man, this game's a fucking mess. These cars with CSP enhanced tires are so easy to spin. So you're saying the CSP enhanced tires are worse? If so, that's even funnier. At least ones I tried. NSX C5 Spec Racer. Even before it's the good old tried and true difficulty equals realism. I don't think we're ever gonna shake that, are we? Yeah, it's crazy, like, how easy it is and punishing it is to, like, slide and, like, spin some cars in sim racing. Yet, like, I remember, like, the cappuccino mods I've tried, right? The car feels, like... car feels slow. Which, I guess, it's harder to get that feeling of speed in the game that is in real life. But they also felt way less grippy, way more slippery. Whereas in real life, the only times I've broken traction with that car is on, like, literal gravel, loose surfaces. I've taken it pretty hard through some like, twisty country roads. Within reason. I'm not trying to break the law, and I'm not trying to kill myself. But, you know, I have given it some beans in bits where I know I can get away with it. And try and stretch the car, and it just doesn't break grip. And this is running on, like, economy car tires. Because that was all I could buy. I did go for the premium economy car tires, but these tires were definitely built for more, you know, saving fuel than they were for hugging the road as you're, like, throwing the car through. Something that I have come to dislike, especially with AC, is that there is definitely more of a disconnect. And I don't... I've tried some of these CSP-enhanced cars, and I just don't really... they don't really feel that much different. The core AC traits are still all there, the good and the bad. Kept spinning the RSS GT3. I didn't actually. I never bought it in the end. I was thinking about it, and I just never did. Kept getting distracted by other things. Plus, it was a GT3 car, so I've driven some of the older RSS GT3 cars, and they were better than the Kunos GT3 cars. But they are still GT3 cars at the end of the day, so... I do feel the enjoyment of them is vaguely limited, but I don't know. Maybe I just haven't driven a good feeling GT3 car yet. Because the base game ones definitely aren't it. I hate them. But you don't want to download a PDF to start up an F1 car, you know, for realism? No! I mean, I've long, especially with stuff like that coming out, I've started to hold the argument that there is such a thing as too much realism, right? Sim racing is great because we don't have to deal with the bullshit of real life. We could drive cars that feel believable without having to deal with the bullshit of doing it for real. And it's like, so no, I don't want to spend hours warming up a Formula 1 car so I can race it. I just want to click a button, drive. But the problem is these company, or like the mods with these kind of features are built by, well, effectively companies now. You know, these guys are these established modding groups. And so, you know, they're trying to sell you a product, and so they're obviously struggling to come up with like meaningful developments that they can do to be like, hey, here's an edge we have above our competitors. So it's like, oh yeah, download a PDF and map 20 different buttons to your steering wheel just so you can drive the car an inch. Thankfully, I think in a lot of cases they do provide a more basic car At least some, I think, do. So you can avoid all of that if you want, which is good, but you do have to wonder how many people are actually dealing with all the realism stuff and how much are just using the basic car. I'd assume probably 90% of people are using the basic car, because it might be funny to go and play through all of that stuff like once, but like beyond that, the novelty's worn off. Pay for files that you won't even use. Hell yeah. Yeah. There are some cool things here and there in the AC modding scene, but I do, especially with Overtake as well becoming shittier and shittier, and just a bunch of other things, I just think that AC is a bit of a... AC is becoming increasingly more and more of a disjointed mess. And it's kind of making it harder for me, at least, to care and to keep up with all of this stuff. Some people love stuff like that, and they build flight sim cockpits with 1,000 buttons and gauges. I guess, but I feel like for the vast... That's like a very... I still feel like it's a very small percentage of people, right? The true anoraks. It's like, yeah, it's cool to see some of these details, but like... At the end of the day, I want a car that I can use. And it's like, especially when you think about the fact that these games were never really built with these systems in mind, right? Like, AC isn't built to cope with like a startup procedure. The race just starts. And so, like, if you use that version of the mod in, like, an actual race, you gotta, like, fumble around and, like, quickly get the car fired up, and oh no, the race has started already. I wonder if Rain is gonna be a pay mod forever. Maybe. Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me. I have thought on occasion about maybe wanting to maybe move away to some regards from AC. But at the same time, it's like AC is still just... The community in AC is still just too strong to let it go. And I do still enjoy it. Like, it's not that I hate it. But it's just like, I feel like throughout the years, my interest in what's been going on has been, like, steadily declined. You know, I don't care for all the fancy schmancy hoopah. I just want to jump into a server and race with some people and have some fun. Yeah, that's also true. Like, this thing, I sat back and I thought, like, you know, it's like, I sit back and think, like, oh yeah, what could work? RF2? Not really. As much as RF2 I think is amazing when it works properly, it still very frequently doesn't. Which can make it kind of annoying, and mod sport for that is, like, really inconsistent and varies. Like, if you think AC mods very wildly in quality, in R-Factor 2, I'd argue that's even more so, because you have less choice. sometimes like a really bad like or a really wonky like Grand Prix Legends port is like the only port you have of like a certain track. Whereas like AC, there's, you know, at least 4 or 5 different versions of like most tracks out there. Whether they're any good or not, it's a different question, but you at least have some choice to play with. And yeah, AC is just kind of reliable. It kind of just does... You know, I've played what? 4,170 hours now of AC. There's nothing really in AC that can surprise me anymore. I think that's also part of the problem, is maybe it's just a bit of general fatigue of AC. I've played it too much. So there isn't really anything that really captures that wow, you know. I've basically squeezed almost everything I can. And the community is the only real thing keeping me around. Which is kind of a shame that, like, other Sims have, like, faltered that have come out in recent times. Or they just don't really offer the same thing. Or, like, a similar thing. Because, yeah, like, AC is eventually gonna become, like, NR 2003 and the likes, right? NR 2003 and RBR and the likes. Where it's only getting older and older. And sure, the modding community has done great things to keep those games alive for so many years. But, especially in the case of NR 2003 and RBR, those games are sometimes quite annoying because you can't get around their age in some places. You know, and some of the poor choices that the original games had made. You know, NR 2003 is amazing when you get it set up right. Like, the only real... because, I mean, well, the only options you have for oval sims is NR 2003 or iRacing. And if you don't want to pay iRacing fees, NR 2003 is all you've got. But it's like getting a race set up that feels good in NR 2003, where you're not just going to instantly spin out at like the first corner or second corner. Because good old papyrus physics. It's kind of hit or miss. I remember recently I went and played a little bit. But I just couldn't get any races going that I felt happy with. I ended up just bailing and going to, like, Lift the Speed instead, I think. Actually, no. I think I bailed and went and did some AC. Did, like, some of the challenges. Free achievements. Yay. Maybe one day I'll finally collect all 709 achievements the game has. Take a very long time though. Yeah, I do hope these new Sims coming out can maybe help freshen up the landscape a little bit. It's gonna be hard to, like, be able to, you know, fully break away from AC, given just how ingrained it is. But, like, you know, yeah, I do hope that newer Sims can come and provide a more well-rounded package, I guess. that is more fleshed out and whatnot. Ironically, though, at the moment, ACE Evo does not seem to be doing that, and whether it ever will, who knows? It's crazy how that game went from being like one of the most hyped games in the community to being pretty much completely forgotten about now. You just don't really hear anyone talking about it. Because Kunos dropped the ball so hard with that release. Which is a shame, you know? You know, maybe Project Motor Racing will turn out to be good, but it's an Ian Bell game, so I'm tempering my expectations on that. I hope it's good. I hope it's really fun and whatnot. But, who knows? LMU seems to be good, but I don't know if I'm interested in paying £30 just for World Endurance Championship stuff. Like, I don't really see myself getting much use out of it. Crap. I don't know. I'm just waffling at this point. But I do genuinely think that there is, you know... I do still enjoy things we have now, but I think everyone can agree that we could do significantly better than what we have now, on all fronts. It's just that somebody needs to come along and put all the pieces together. Into a cohesive and reasonable package, which is easier said than done, but, you know. I know a bunch of people keep counting BeamNG as like the next greatest thing, but I'm not fully convinced. I don't think it'll ever fully break the mantle of just being crash porn. So yeah. I mean, I enjoyed Beam a lot when I was younger. Because I messed around and did a lot of stuff. I did a lot of, like, I played around, did a lot of custom scenarios, but, like, yeah, you sort of have to do everything yourself. And there's a lot of shortcomings in it. That I think, and I think also with them kind of they're trying to dip their toes into too many baskets, I feel, as well nowadays. They want to be like a serious racing... They want to be taken seriously as like a racing game, but they also want to, you know, be like a replacement for like a bus simulator and stuff like that. And it's like, you can't be everything. I get why they don't have proper race mode in BeamNG. I think there kind of is, but it's a bit flaky, and yeah, the AI is not very good. But it's like, people sort of turn around and say like, oh, like, you know, BeamNG is like everyone should copy BeamNG for like its physics approach to physics. It's like, no. Like, as much as BeamNG is pretty great in some technical areas, BeamNG has also been in development for like well over 10 years at this point, I'm pretty certain. And they still are like nowhere near finished. And it's like, yeah, 29th of May was when it released on Steam, and it's still in early access. And it's like, these guys are probably bigger than most sim teams out there nowadays. And so if it's taken these guys like 10 years plus to get this game to be anything, it just doesn't make sense for other sim racing devs to do what these guys have done. Because you almost have to question, I didn't even realize it was still in early access, but I guess it makes sense. Because you almost have to question, will BeamNG ever be finished? Because I almost think the answer is no. No, until the company goes bankrupt, I guess. I wouldn't really lump it in with Star Citizen, because Star Citizen is, like, pretty much a scam. BeamNG at least isn't charging you for, like, every part on your car and charging you real-world market value for each individual car in the game. Only to offer you an experience that's more broken than No Man's Sky at launch. So I think it's a bit unfair, but I can kind of see where you're coming from. I think Beam's problem, though, is that it was a tech demo. Like, BeamNG was and kind of still is a tech demo to some regards. And I feel like that tech demo was a bit more successful than they were maybe thinking. And I guess they've never really quite been able to figure out what to do with it to make it into an actual game. And it's like, I did play and I did enjoy BeamNG back in the day, but nowadays I just don't really find, even with all the updates they've been doing, I don't really find much of a reason to come back to it. Which is a shame, because it is, you know, I did buy the game. I mean, I put like 100 or so hours into it back then, so I'd say I got my money's worth. But the identity crisis is real, I guess. Speaking of developments in gaming, though, kind of a bit of a random switch. But I kind of wanted to talk about this because I found out. So last week, I actually found I'd somehow missed this, but I'd actually found there's like a relatively new patch or like mod that came out for Saints Row 2 called the like Juiced mod or something like that. And obviously, if you didn't know, Saints Row 2's PC port is god-awful. It's broken to high hell. The game barely functions. Well, the game is vaguely playable, but the graphics, the cutscenes are all kind of borked. The game can't run at a stable frame rate regardless of hardware, and it crashes all the time. There was a mod previously called Gentleman of the Row, well, it still is there, which, you know, was sort of the de facto way to play the game, because the mod fixed some of the instabilities. So the game still wasn't great, but it crashed less often. So it was more bearable to play through. One gripe I always kind of had with Gentleman of the Row, though, was that I like to play games in as vanilla state as possible when I play them for the first time, and then sort of mod them later. You know, I kind of like to get a feeling of what the game is before going into going and adding mods everywhere. And I've never really gotten that, because Gentleman of the Row adds a bunch of content into the game, so I was never really sure what was and wasn't there. But recently, like last week, I found out about this Juice mod. And it seems like it's still getting updates. I don't know how far they plan on taking it, but I played with it throughout the past week, and honestly, it's been pretty amazing, because as far as I'm aware, the game is pretty much fixed from a technical standpoint. There are still some hitches and quirks here or there, but I played what, like 30 hours over the weekend and the end of the week. Some of that is idle time, you know, me leaving it on like when I'm eating or having a shower or whatever. So it's not exactly, but you know, I played quite a bit. And like, the game looks better. It looks how it should, I guess. The cutscenes now are fine. The game actually runs at 60 FPS and it doesn't crash. Which is I never after the patch the official patch kind of died with Volition. I guess technically even with the guy himself. I kind of resigned myself to the fact that we probably weren't really going to ever see like a more fixed version of Saints Row 2. So I'm kind of glad like I stumbled onto that. Because I haven't beaten the game fully just yet, but it's easily been my favorite playthrough of the game so far. Because, well, the game's never worked so well. In my other attempts to play through it. Which yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just thought it was pretty cool. It's good to see that more and more old games, like, communities are helping to preserve more and more, like, old games and help them run better. More Team GTA 4 next, please. Yeah. I was thinking, yeah, there's so many dodgy PC ports out there over the years, which is kind of annoying. Especially given that PC is probably the best platform for preservation, you know. Every PC I go to, I can access, you know, as long as Steam stays alive, I can access my copy of Saints Row 2. But, you know, if I had an Xbox 360, that's gonna croak eventually. I mean, I think there's probably some backwards compatibility, but I mean, Xbox seems like it's dying out, so there goes that. And yeah, so many games just got completely botched for PC. course, yeah, as you mentioned, GTA 4 is another one. PS is publishing to other platforms now too, yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that's pretty great over the past few years, is the death of the console wars. Kind of something I hinted at earlier, obviously, with like the cross-platform matchmaking and stuff. The console wars held us back for so long. And now that the console wars is kind of fizzling out, I think we're getting a better... In some regards, we are getting a better gaming landscape. Because, you know, more games are becoming available in more places. You know, who would have thought that Forza Horizon would be purchasable on the, on a PlayStation, you know? And who would have thought that, you know, Sony exclusives would be available on a PC? Yeah, ironically, yeah, Nintendo won the war by not really being part of it. They sort of stayed on the, like, outside forever. For pretty much the whole time. Kind of doing their own thing. It's like Xbox and Sony, like, hacked away at each other. Well, nobody really cares about either now. Everyone's now like, oh wow, Switch 2, so cool. But we just need to wait another like 30 years for Nintendo to catch up and realize that they too should be releasing their games on multiple platforms. It's almost as if you could fix the emulation problem by just releasing the game on the platform to begin with. Crazy idea. And I mean, platforms like the Steam Deck have kind of proven, right, especially in the case of like the Switch, that there is a market for, you know, different devices of different different form factors, right? The Steam Deck is relatively successful, you know, all things considered. But like, so like, this thing, I feel like Nintendo wouldn't really need to worry as much about, oh no, we're gonna lose Switch 2 sales. They probably would, but, you know, they'd probably still get quite a lot of sales anyways. You know, Switch 2 offers a form factor that, like, a PC doesn't. Or a PlayStation or an Xbox doesn't. I guess one problem with Nintendo games, though, is they always love shoveling, especially ever since, like, the Wii, I guess. They love shoveling, like, extra hardware-specific gimmicks into the mix. But even then, I think that's kind of fallen by the wayside a bit more with the Switch. I don't know, though. And I think, yeah, actually, yeah, a lot of Wii games could be played with a GameCube controller as well, so... it's doable. Still want people to find out how mid their games are. Eh. Agree and disagree on that one. I mean, I haven't really played many Nintendo games as of late, but I've heard some games are really good. Of course, not every game is good. Like, seems like people aren't terribly happy about the new Mario Kart, for example. But, like, I mean, the Zelda games that released on the Switch seem to be really highly regarded. And a bunch of other games. As like... you know, loads of people aren't playing them that probably would be willing to buy them, but they just don't want to buy a separate piece of hardware to play those one or two games. Even those other games aren't really Switch 2 games, yet they cost just as much. Oh yeah, I'm not defending Nintendo's pricing practices or anything. I'm just saying that there's like 100% a market of people who want to buy Nintendo games, but don't want to buy a Switch or a Switch 2. So it just seems very, very draconian, especially in a market where the borders are falling down between platforms more and more. It just feels kind of draconian to still be, like, so shrewd in, like, you can only get our games on our platform. And even if it is just the PC and not to, like, PlayStation or Xbox, sure, whatever. Better than just being on one platform. And also, probably would quash emulation, by and large. People emulate, like, you know, Nintendo gets mad about people pirating and emulating Switch games, but they only do that because they can't buy them. You know? Of course, it's not going to fully get rid of the problem. Some people will still pirate those games anyways, but, you know. There wouldn't be a need for a lot of these things if people could just access them. They probably also don't want people to mod the games. Again, it's another shrewd and draconian thing, because people are gonna do it anyways. People even do it on consoles. Like, I mean, like, people have found, you know, Nintendo tries to ramp up the security, but people are still finding ways to get around it and jailbreak their Switches. You know, they're gonna figure out how to do it. They're gonna figure out how to break the system and get what they want. People want it, they're gonna get it. And if you're that concerned, you could just riddle every game with, like, ridiculous anti-cheat or whatever. You know, time to buy a single-player game with kernel-level anti-cheat. Hell yeah. But, like, I don't know. Pretty much any argument I feel like you could come up with is just kind of to, like, say, like, oh, no, we shouldn't put our games on PC. Ultimately, would just kind of make you look like a fool. But obviously, it's a very Nintendo thing to do. That's why I made the joke earlier. In about 30 years, they'll probably realize, oh, cross-platforming is a good thing. And then they'll start doing it. Because they definitely are very old-fashioned and behind the curve on a bunch of things. But yeah, I don't know. The industry's weird. It's in a very, very weird spot right now. But, yeah, no, I think that's pretty much everything for now. Why would I buy modern BF and COD when I could just download a standalone community overhaul mod of an older BF that would offline too? I mean, true. But yeah, I don't know. It does seem though like EA is hedging a lot, and I mean a lot, on Battlefield 6. And the beta seemed, I didn't play it, but the beta seemed to be pretty successful. People seemed to enjoy it. But yeah, it does seem like EA are hedging a lot on that succeeding. Especially given that they've effectively pulled the plug on a load of other franchises. So they could throw a load of extra studios into the Battlefield meat grinder. To make this game work. I can't imagine the amount of money they've thrown at it. And resources. To, you know, obviously, like, warrant killing off a bunch of other series, like Need for Speed and the likes. So yeah, they need it to succeed. I don't think failure is an option for them. Especially given that the other game the other bigger release they seem to be releasing soon-ish, which is the Skate reboot. Well, that seems like it's probably going to be dead on arrival. Because sounds like it's going to be a free-to-play microtransaction-ridden hell. So I don't think that's going to be scoring them any brownie points. But it'll be interesting to see. I think developments in the industry over the next few years in general will be quite interesting to see. There are definitely some pretty huge shifts in motion. And how those turn out is gonna be interesting to follow. Things could get a lot better, things could get a lot worse. Things could be somewhere in between. Who knows? Sorry, I just opened the Steam as we talk about Battlefield. I opened the Steam homepage. Battlefield 2042, 95% off. It's funny. Does it have the BS anti-cheat? Probably. Uses kernel-level anti-cheat. EA Javelin anti-cheat. Requires manual removal after game uninstall. Also has de nouveau. Recently posted, if you're looking for a Battlefield game to play after the 6 beta, this is not it. But yeah, no, I think that level of anti-cheat is slowly becoming the norm in more competitive games. as they go into sort of increasingly extreme lengths to try and stop people from cheating. But oh well. You do have to wonder though, right? Given that cheating has seemingly become a bigger and bigger problem as of late, right? You almost have to question, because like, these games have been around for ages. They've had online connectivities for ages. We've had the tools to cheat for ages. Yet, it's not been seen as much of a problem in the past. It's still been seen as a bit of a problem. So, you know, they've, you know, gone and, like, you know, tried to implement measures to stop and prevent it. But it seems like something that's only been taken increasingly seriously over the years. You almost have to wonder if that's more down to a change of mentality and sort of perception, rather down to an inherent increase of cheating. Or, like, you know, maybe people are cheating more, but there's maybe a deeper reason as to why people are cheating more, right? I mean, I'd almost argue the increased, you know, social and competitive pressures of these games probably does encourage more people to cheat. You know, when being competitive in these games is a huge bragging right. And you know, these games are all about their competitive modes and whatnot. You know, you seek to gain, or people I guess seek to gain more by faking it. But I don't know. That's just a theory. But yeah, I think that's probably a good time to throw in the can for the night. Probably should have done that a while ago, but been unraveled. But yeah, no. Yeah, we can do. Yeah, I think that's all for now. Thanks to everyone who showed up and chatted. Thanks to everyone who showed up and raced. It's a good amount of fun. And yeah, look forward to seeing you all next week. Adios.